Take three, I think. Asking the public question. On the 1st of January I delivered 6 letters to various county councillors in this area, and the Lord Mayor and the Chairman of the Council were part of that. And for those who don't read the blogs, this is what the public question was. I wish to know when the victimisation and criminal negligence by elected and non-elected officials of Cardiff County Council is going to end, as highlighted in my blogs and videos on YouTube and found on http://bbccrazydave.blogspot.com, so that I might be rehoused in a bungalow where I will not be subject to the prejudices of the well-adjusted, and live in a home where my peaceful enjoyment and rights to privacy, as outlined in the Human Rights Act, are not violated on a daily basis. In the meantime, I would like installed ASAP a push-button system for lighting the landing and stairs at 15 blah-de-blah-de-blah, so I no longer have to go out every night in order to switch it off to save this council money. It's the 26th of January now. Apparently council officials are looking into that original question, but nobody's contacted me regarding the push-button system, so I don't have to go and save this money, council monies, because they got loads to blow on lighting the hallway and stairs for the tenant or the person who owns the property above, but refused to put a fence up for me at the back so I don't get stuff nicked out of my garden, don't get stuff damaged in my garden. Anyway, found out from Judith Woodman that that might not be acceptable because it relates to an individual, so I resent it. In the meantime, things cross as they do, and yeah, I'll read the reply from Jeff Parry. Request to submit a public question to the council. The letter is dated the 6th of January. I really received it on the 11th. It was franked for the 9th, but there we go. Snail mail. I refer to your letter addressed to a number of councillors, in which you ask that you be allowed to submit a public question at the next council meeting on the 22nd of January 2009. There are a number of procedural rules relating to the submission of public questions which need to be adhered to, and a copy of the rules is attached for your information. As the question relates to your own personal particular circumstances, I regret to inform you that the proper officer has rejected your question under paragraph 11.5.5 of these procedural rules as follows. 11.5. The proper officer may reject a question if it, 11.5.5, relates to an individual, group or business, or to the questioner's own particular circumstances. I would add that the issues you have raised in your letter are being pursued by council officials. I must also raise with you 2 instances when you first recorded images and sound of the council meeting on the 18th of December, and second, more recently, your recorded images and sound of Councillor Roland James on a private premises. You were advised at the council meeting that you were not allowed to take photographs, but it is clear from the YouTube clip that after that warning, you placed the camera in your bag and continued to record sound. Such behaviour will not be permitted again. If you ignore this advice, you will be removed from council premises. Should you wish to see and hear the proceedings of council, you may do so by accessing the council's internet site and viewing the official webcast. In relation to taking of images or individuals on private premises without their consent, you breach his or her rights under the Data Protection Act. You should consult the Information Commissioner or his website for guidance as to the circumstances in which such images may be recorded. Yours sincerely, Jeff Parry. Those are the procedural rules Jeff sent me, and as you can see I've highlighted a bit the 11.5.5 bit because that relates to my supplementary question. You're allowed 1 under the procedural rules, but what caught my eye the first time I read this was that I have an email from Councillor Ed Bridges, who was one of the 6, saying that he could not access my blogs or my videos on YouTube via the council's website. He was unwilling to go to a local internet cafe to do so. He was unwilling to go to the local library, and he was unwilling to go to his central office where they probably have a computer that can watch anything. So that was one thing that really got me thinking, well, an elected council official has viewed my YouTube thing, to mention it there. In the blog relating to all this, I have mentioned that, well, excuse me, but there's another blog on there's another video on YouTube where Councillor Anne Rowland James is opening a new gate, and she seems happy enough to have that there. Well, they got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't they? You'll notice in their Capital Times, they're happy to be photographed there. Good landlords recognised. We have Judith Woodman in amongst all those, so it appears that they only want to be videoed or photographed at their convenience rather than being held accountable for stuff. It's also interesting that this is the weekend, good weekend to bury bad news, Dave. It is. That undercover journalists are investigating House of Lords members who are willing to take cash in order to ask a supplementary question or amend legislation. Undercover journalists, and everybody's going, well, glad they did that, aren't you? Well, perhaps Cardiff Council ought to be, all the citizens in Cardiff ought to be, oh, glad Crazy Dave can do that, aren't you? I gotta stop this now because I'm running over time with a full length one, so that's that.